Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to the Energy Connect studio here at ADIPEC 2025 in Abu Dhabi. I'm delighted to say up next is my exclusive interview with the Secretary General of OPEC. Secretary General, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
It's my pleasure.
Talk to me about what you would like to hear and see in terms of clear messaging going forward, not least from the oil and gas majors, the renewable giants that we see on the ground, but also policymakers at this time.
Well, I like the word you mentioned, clear messaging. I think what we're seeing here at ADIPEC today is really something that I've been pushing for and advocating for a few years now, is the importance to have clear messaging going from us, not only as OPEC and OPEC members, but ADIPEC is an event where you have global industry leaders, you name it, oil, gas, renewables, energy sector at large. And I think there's a clear message that I felt today in the rooms, in the meeting rooms, in the plenary, in the sessions with speakers, with delegates all around, that everybody is kind of, if I may say, fed up of nonsense. And people want to get down to serious business, which is planning for our global energy future for many years and decades to come. And this means that we have to have, as you said, very clear messages about what it's going to look like and how we will get from here to there. And for us at OPEC, we have been vocal and we have been very clear about this for many, many years. Even I might say at times we might have been the only voice out there saying that there is no peak in oil demand. And it was not an easy task. We continue to say that because we believe in the fundamentals. We have the facts and figures that are clear on the ground, which basically show the following: that the global population is set to increase from now to 2050 by nearly 2 billion people. Most of that growth in population is going to be from the developing world. The global economy is set to double in its size compared to what it's like today. And we have a huge urbanization move that's happening around the world, which we don't see and we don't feel. But basically, we're talking about nearly 500 million people from now to 2030 moving into new cities. And 2030 is just around the corner, basically. It's less than 5 years from today. So what does this mean? This means that the world's going to require and consume about 23% more primary energy demand. And that includes oil. Oil demand is going to rise from today's levels to reach 123 million barrels a day by 2050. And this means that the world has to invest. We have been clear with our messaging. We're glad to see that the rest of the world is moving in that direction. And I think these are the messages that the industry leaders must jointly with us at OPEC produce to policymakers, to decision makers around the world.
Picking up on that keyword investment that you've often spoken about, the underinvestment that we're seeing in oil and gas, if we continue to see capital shifting towards green, clean, renewables, and what are the risks as you see them?
First of all, let me start by saying we're not against renewables at all. No, we are actually, our member countries are leaders. We're here in the UAE, a classic example of how a leading oil producer is also a leading renewables producer. Not only in the UAE itself, but even globally through Masdar, as you know. So we are for all energies, that's number one. The risk happens when the case is presented as if it's one form of the energy or the other. And I think that's where it's a bit different than the messages that we are saying, the world will need all sources of energy. It's not either or. It's not either renewables or oil and gas. It's all of the above together. Because of the sheer size of that growth in requirements for energy in the future means that you have to invest in everything. And the facts, again, on the ground are very clear. In 1960, OPEC was formed, and the energy mix was 80% fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas. Today, fast forward to 2025, 65 years down the road, it's still 80%. So I think it's clear that demand keeps rising, and we need to embrace renewables, we need to embrace all forms of energy, and we need to continue to invest in oil and gas. In oil, for the oil industry at OPEC, our research shows that the world needs about $18.2 trillion from now to 2050. That's almost 700 billion a year. We have fallen behind, unfortunately, because of some of the things you mentioned, the push towards one form of energy versus another. But I think things are picking up and picking up pace again in the right direction again, slowly, slowly.
What do you say to those critics who fear a supply glut at the moment?
Cut or not cut, that's something that's determined really. Now you see we are meeting much more frequently. We have a group of countries that meet almost on a monthly basis to determine how we manage the market. We make sure that the market's not undersupplied nor oversupplied. And that's the beauty of what we do at OPEC Plus, is always trying to get that balance right, fine balance in the market, which is not easy, but I think we've been doing a great job so far and trying, despite all the noise and all the things that are happening, a lot of turmoil in the world we live in today. But I think we've been doing a phenomenal job, and it was nice to hear it today being appreciated by some of the leaders here.
So greater cohesion, greater discipline in 2026?
Absolutely. I mean, the discipline and the cohesion between the group, the unity between the OPEC Plus 22 countries has been a critical success factor since OPEC Plus was created back in 2016 or 2017. I think that will continue. We have a clear objective in mind, a clear strategy as well. We have a roadmap that we have drawn since last year when we took that ministerial decision. And that will keep us working together and moving along into maintaining a well-balanced market.
You said that people are fed up of the nonsense. Less talking, more down to business. Looking ahead against 2026 and given the atmosphere on the ground at ADIPEC 2025, what do you see in terms of true collaboration, greater partnership?
Well, I think first of all, in terms of collaboration, there are a lot of opportunities that are arising now, not only between North-South as the phrase that is used, but also South-South collaboration. We see more of that emerging. We see a lot more collaboration also between NOCs with NOCs. It's not just the usual business model of NOCs and IOCs. And we see that in many of our member countries. So I think that's a good trend also emerging, where people are collaborating in different and innovative ways. Now for us, we see the market in 2026 still resilient. We believe that oil demand year-on-year growth will still be at about 1.3 million barrels a day, based on a robust economic growth forecast of 3.1% global GDP for next year. So with that, we see the market still requiring more supply coming from OPEC Plus in the future, as we see a decline, slowly seeing a decline in some of the non-OPEC or non-OPEC Plus producers, namely the US and others, where we see growth in supply beginning to slow down a bit, meaning that with the additional demand that we're forecasting, OPEC Plus will have to bring more barrels to the market, and that's what we've been doing over the past 6 to 9 months so far. So it's a bit of a lot of work on my research team, on our ministers, but we do take this job very seriously. We make sure that we're on the ball, always managing the market and trying to preserve that stability that everybody requires.
Lastly, ahead of COP30 in Brazil, do you believe that nations, following the last COP, have delivered on the promises that they outlined, and what must be the priority going into this meeting?
Well, again, collaboration, I think, is a key for COP30 or any COP. I mean, we saw a beautiful success coming out of COP28 here in Dubai, in the UAE. We're proud of the success that our member country, the UAE, delivered on that event. COP29 as well was a great success for our OPEC Plus partner country, Azerbaijan. I was at both events. COP30, we believe, is going to be also another success. Brazil is another country which is, we have been very close with Brazil in the last couple of months. Last year, I would say. Brazil is a major oil and gas producer, but also a major player in biofuels, renewable energy, and kind of exemplifies the case that I was building for the importance of having an full balanced approach towards your energy strategy, and where no single source of energy should be ruled out or taken out of the equation. So I think it will be a success there based on the collaboration and the diplomacy that the Brazilian presidency will bring to the table.
We have to leave it there. Your Excellency, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Secretary General of OPEC speaking to Energy Connect exclusively at ADIPEC 2025. For more interviews like this, just head to energyconnects.com. I'll see you soon.